So I'm just gonna, if it's all right, then I'll just go right down the table line here, please. And again, let you tell a little bit about the background of yourself, why you're running, and a couple of priorities that you would see. As Patty was saying, these questions were presented to each of the candidates before. You don't get them on email?
I got you. That's okay. Well, I sent them to the emails that were listed on the City of Waterville's website.
Oh, okay. So is that not a good website or good email?
I don't know.
It's our old emails, they weren't updated, that's all.
Oh, and they weren't updated on the city site yet.
Correct, and we weren't able to get a hold of these questions.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you just have to ask them.
But that
You'll just have to ask them.
keep asking.
No, you'll just have to ask the questions you sent us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Tim. Okay. Go ahead. We have Tom Nidick seeking a position on the Waterville City Council.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'll tell you about my background, and it'll take about an hour and a half, but just be patient. Anyway, I came from a small town. I'm not gonna tell you where. So I lose votes right away. Of 1,800 just like this. I was on the council down there. Speak up.
Could I make a recommendation that we stand when we talk so that the back people can hear us better?
The fans you just had, or stand? I think we could have a wise idea. If we could stand or project a little bit.
Get up. It's gonna take half an hour.
Get up. We were looking for sound systems and it didn't come together.
Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
You're at a Hawkeye game.
So I graduated from high school. I was 17. I enlisted in the Navy. Spent 7 years. When I got out, I went to work for John Deere, and I retired from John Deere after 30 years. Also, I think it was in 1990, I got on the town council in my little town for 4 years, and I enjoyed it because there was a lot to it, and I just wanted the atmosphere of being involved in my community, and that's kind of the way I feel about this community here. This community has so much to offer that I enjoy living here. I've lived here for 22 years. Enjoy it. The people are great. I have some very good ideas I think our main thing here is our what I want to say, our industry here is tourism, basically. And I got some ideas for summer and winter involving families, so I'd like to bring that to the council someday. What else was there? Another question?
No?
Top priorities, but
Yeah,
Oh,
priority. Yeah.
Okay, the top priority is when I was on council down there for 4 years, we balance the budget every year. And there's a good rhythm to that, and I'll explain it to people later on if they want to know about it. It really worked out good for not only the departments, but for the city. We balanced it for 4 years. And then, I don't know if they still are now or not, but other than that, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our next candidate also for the Waterville City Commission is Sarah Edwards.
All right, hopefully everybody can hear me because now I hear that there's a fan on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So,
check that out.
I'm Sarah Edwards. I've been a resident here for 24 years, so well over half my lifetime. I have children that go to school here. They're involved in sports. I've been involved in the community doing community garden stuff. I just like to be busy in general. And so just some major things that I want to focus on would be community engagement. I don't think that we have the best system to engage our community, whether that would be like social media or a website not being updated with proper emails or whatever it may be. Because it's 2024, people look to the internet for things. That's how they spread the word, and we just don't really have that stuff here. Rebuilding infrastructure, so that's important too after the floods, which has been obviously the worst it's been since I can remember. There's still lots of building back up that needs to happen. Residents are still out of their homes, or there's lots of difficulty with that right now too. And then public safety and services, so ensuring safety and well-being of our residents, just enhancing our public safety programs and improving city services. Tom and I were just talking about how small towns aren't necessarily safe anymore, like the small town thoughts. And I grew up in West St. Paul and moved here when I was 13. It was culture shock when my mother moved me here, but I can't imagine growing up in the cities where I used to live. So just trying to make sure that we can make our community as safe as possible with the resources that we do have. And if we need to allocate different resources, we do that in a fiscal manner. That's all I got.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next candidate for Waterville City Council is Scott Potter. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Scott Potter. Hope you can hear me in the back. I've lived here 25, 26 years. My youngest daughter, Andy Potter, went to school here and graduated. I have 2 children in school now, and probably a third will still go to school here. I wanted to run for city council because I like helping the community out. A lot of you know me from the flood. Some things I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see things brought to town for younger families. I'd like to see a splash pad eventually somewhere in town. I'd like to see some moderately priced homes built on slab, 1,100 square foot, somewhere in that age or area, that, you know, that aren't the $1 million homes that everybody seems to want to put up. Stuff that, you know, everyday working people can afford to buy. And I'd like to see some twin homes put up on slab for a lot of elderly people or people that want to retire, want to sell their house. I hate to see them move to another community just because they can't find housing that, you know, is built for them. The wider doors, single floor. But I'd like to see all this built on slabs so we don't have to deal with the basement floodings, and because the area we're in. And I think if we had more people in town, that would increase our tax base, and there'd be more money for extra city services and things along those lines. And I guess that's about all I have. Unless you got questions, I'll be around.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
And the next candidate is an incumbent to our city commission, Tim Smith.
Hi, welcome everybody. Thanks for inviting us. Sorry I didn't get the questions ahead of time. They just went to the wrong email address. I'm Tim Smith, 56 years old. My family has owned the place I'm in my entire life out there. So I live on the lake near the lagoons area. Like most of you, I had some flooding this year. We're working through it. I'm very proud of this town in the way that we reacted to it and the way that we've handled things. So congratulations to everybody that helped out. Thank you. I ran for council 8 years ago because I wasn't happy about a decision that they made. And I said, rather than being the problem causer, I was going to go try and solve the problems. I made it into council. We've worked through some things. Have been part of several projects around town. I'm part of the audit committee, so once a month I look through all of our bills, as does Jennifer. We keep an eye on the money that the city spends, make sure it's being spent responsibly, the bills that are coming in and being paid are correct. We've been working to balance the budget as best we can every year for 8 years or so. And it takes a lot of work. This town is small. We don't have a big tax base. Unfortunately, the bills that we have to pay keep growing. I'm all for progress, but it's got to be responsible progress. Okay, which means we make progress when we can. We try and make sure that the taxes don't take big jumps unless there's an absolute need. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of needs in the last few years. We do have some infrastructure, some buildings that are going to need some replacement in town. I know that's going to be a big bill. I'm doing my best to make sure that whatever we do is the most responsible use of the tax dollars. So if you've got questions or comments about that, I'm all ears. I will bring them back to council. We can talk about them. As far as priorities in town, we've got a city hall building that needs some major attention. We've got a roof on there that leaks like a sieve right now. We need to do something with that. There are other things that are working around that project that we need to work on also. We're looking at a new fire hall in town. The fire hall we have right now is not in good shape. It is too small for what they're doing. That fire hall, for those who haven't been in town for years and years, was built as a service station. It wasn't meant to hold the size trucks that are in it right now. We've had to remodel it, revamp the building. The ventilation system in there is not quite what it should be. The space isn't really good anymore. So the most responsible use, after having talked to some engineers and some other people that have gone through projects like this, was to look at a different site and build a different building. That hasn't been agreed upon. We haven't signed any contracts yet. We're still in the planning stages of that. So I'm all ears on that one. Other things I've been working on are annexing areas. Sunset Lane is an area that we've been looking at annexing, but there's some legal issues with property boundaries that need to be cleaned up. That's kind of what's held that project up a little bit, but I'm actively working on that. And I'm also been working with state and county officials on flood mitigation, trying to work with the waters we've got coming through town, help slow down some of the water that's coming in, find some upland water storage, and responsible regulations on that kind of thing, and then working on trying to get water flowing out of town better so it reduces the impact that we've got here. I'm also part of the Lakes Association, so we try and take care of the lakes around here. Tourism is our biggest industry, and that's what we need to, I don't want to say cater to, but kind of cater to in the summertime at least. The farmers and the tourism industry are what keeps this town afloat. We want to try and grow the town. We need to take care of the resources and the industries we've got. So.
Thank you,
Questions?
Jim. Yep, appreciate this.
Thank you.
Good. And next candidate, City Commission, is Jennifer Grove. And thank you, Jennifer.
I'm Jennifer Grove. I was born in northern Minnesota, and I met my husband there in 1986. His family has been here for 80 years. This was his hometown. And I've had my name on the ballot since probably like 2000. Every year I stick my name in there, and I would lose, and I would stick it in, and I would lose. And my husband says, "Why don't you just quit?" And I said, "No, you can't quit something." And then finally in 2016, I was elected, and 4 months later, my husband passed away from pancreatic cancer, so he didn't get to see everything that's been going on for the last 8 years. My main goal, I think, is still just trying to keep our levies down every year when we have to do the budget, which is sometimes pretty excruciating trying to find ways where you try to keep the money so that you can run the city, but you don't want to bury everybody in taxes every year. Tim pretty much listed all the projects that as a council member, we have been working on, so that's pretty much all I got.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. All right, that concludes the candidates that we have with us tonight for City Commission. We do have one candidate, an incumbent for the Waterville Elysian Morristown School District, and we would now introduce to you June Resack, please. Same three questions.
Okay. My name is June Rezak, and I have lived here for 21 years with my husband John. We have 3 children, 2 awesome grandchildren. My children graduated from the WM district. I managed the Elysian and Waterville libraries. My priorities, I guess, as far as the school district goes, is we need to up our communication with our families, with our partners in the community, and things like that. That's my number 1 priority. My number 2 priority is really focusing on the littles, the preschool students, and what we're offering them and how we're helping them be the best that they can be as students as they move through our system. So those are my 2 major priorities. There's a couple of reasons why I decided to run again, and one of them is we are currently working on an indoor air quality project within the district, and that's one of the things that I felt I wanted to see go through to fruition. And so that's it. Thank you.
Great. So I think, yeah, let's give our local candidates and thank you for attending, and thank you for running. And we do have, we'll conclude with our District 22B House seat. That's we have one candidate with us. Another may arrive shortly. They had some other obligations, but indicated they hope to be here. But we do have with us this evening from representing the PFL, and that being Sarah. Oh boy, she pronounced it very well for me when I was there, but that was an hour ago. Net Torgrimson.
Yes.
Maybe.
So, hi, I am Sarah Net Torgrimson. I am running here in District 22B for the Minnesota State House. For a little background on me, I am a transplant from North Dakota. I first landed in South Central Minnesota in 1997. I worked for Paul Wellstone. I did some work on Amy Klobuchar's first campaign. I have been politically involved all my life. In addition to that, I have worked as a family service provider. I have done community engagement work with childcare, with affordable housing, and also with training city employees how to talk to a community to actually get a community's needs met. In addition to all of that, I also own a flower shop in St. Peter, Minnesota, and I have a farm in Mankato Township because I can't let myself get bored. The reason that I made the choice to run is I come from a rural place in North Dakota. I was raised in a town of 762 people. I graduated high school in a class of 42 people. And I know that what rural areas need is different than what urban areas need. And I sit here and I listen to all of these candidates talk about balancing budgets and operating levies and all of these sorts of things. And I think some of this can be handled better at a state level. Some of this money can come down from the top so that we are not relying on the property taxpayers in our communities to keep those communities going full steam ahead. We need to build resilient rural communities because I know that agriculture and our lake tourism and our small businesses are the backbones of rural Minnesota. So that is why I am running for the State House, because I want to stand up for the people that are here, the people that need help. I want to make sure that every child has access to high quality childcare, to a high quality education, that every city has the utilities they need and the money they need to make improvements to attract young families, so we can keep building our rural communities and make them better than ever. So that is why I'm here tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions. Be careful if you ask me a policy question, I will probably wonk out on you a little bit because I'm a nerd about that stuff. But thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
That concludes our formal opportunity presented to these candidates for them to share a little about themselves and why they have the passion to pursue their respective positions. So again, thank you candidates for being here and give them a call.